The latest movie news and reviews to see or not to see.
Now for a movie that a lot of people got excited about in 2011, The Hangover Part 2. The plot is pretty obvious if you've seen the first one, or even a trailer for this one, but does Part 2 live up to the hype and expectations that its predecessor had laid out before it? Well, the answer is both yes and no. Director Todd Phillips has noticed what worked and didn't work with audiences after Part 1 and weeded out the less funny parts, but instead of filling those places with fresh jokes, the humour in Part 2 just feels really recycled. But even though we've seen all these jokes before, they're still very funny. Alan steals the show, as he did in the first film, but he's given a lot more of the spotlight this time around. Ken Jeong returns as Mr. Chow and is one of the standouts in this movie. And there's also a very funny cameo from fan favourite Mike Tyson as well, but I'm not going to spoil it here if you haven't seen the movie, although there's some slightly more serious moments this time around. As opposed to the first film, the jokes still land every time, and even though they're not new, you'll find yourself crying with laughter in some parts, especially Alan's story about his uncle discovering an albino polar bear. That's one such moment. Well, for me, the character of Stu has been exaggerated far too much. In the first film, his neurotic personality was kind of funny, but this time around it just comes off as annoying. Also, the film tends to be a little bit too predictable. If you're a fan of the first film, you'll figure out what's happened to Teddy, Stu's soon-to-be brother-in-law, in the first 20 minutes of the movie. In the end, The Hangover 2 is a fun ride, which will have you laughing your ass off more than a few times. Not in the same league as the first film, but still set to take the crown as one of the funniest films of 2011. The Hangover 2 is available on DVD and Blu-ray now, and I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
Check out more movie reviews online right now to seeornottosee.net.